Hey, what's up? I'm Dallas Wade, and today we are going to be looking for ghosts in the most haunted playground in America. Maple Hill Cemetery was built in 1822, and it now contains over 80,000 burials across its 2-acre plot, making it the oldest and largest cemetery in Huntsville, Alabama. In the northeast corner of Maple Hill Cemetery, there is a playground. The playground itself looks like any ordinary playground with ordinary playground equipment, but there is something about this particular playground that seems undeniably ominous and surreal. The playground is at the bottom of a hill and is surrounded on 3 sides by 20 to 30-foot limestone walls, with the only entrance and exit being the side that faces the cemetery. The playground is permanently engulfed by shadows and confined by towering limestone cliffs. It feels gloomy and claustrophobic, but many people believe that there is more to it than just that. Many people believe that it is haunted. Maple Hill Park is infamously known as Dead Children's Playground. The dark history and diabolical legends surrounding this playground are so disturbing that it is internationally recognized as the most haunted playground in America. According to local legends, aside from the obvious proximity to the Maple Hill Cemetery, there are 2 major events that contribute to the haunting of Maple Hill Park. The first event took place just over 100 years ago. In late September of 1918, a deadly flu arrived in Alabama. By early October, there were already tens of thousands of cases being reported, and deaths by the hundreds. On October 7th, Alabama Governor Charles Henderson declared a statewide shutdown of all public places, including stores, schools, theaters, and even churches. Masks were mandatory in public, and public health departments distributed them among Alabama citizens. This pandemic lasted until April of 1920. Alabama was devastated by the flu, as was the entire country, and as was the entire planet. But few cities suffered as much as Huntsville. No one knows exactly how many Huntsville lives were lost to the flu, but it was somewhere in the thousands, hundreds of which were children. And many of those children were buried in the Maple Hill Cemetery. People say that the ghosts of those children can sometimes be seen or heard playing on the playground. Another event took place in the 1960s. According to the legends, there was a series of child abductions in the Maple Hill community. No one knew at the time what the fate of those children had become, until someone was walking nearby the playground and found a small human skull among the limestone. After a search party was sent out, several bodies of the abducted children were discovered near an abandoned mineshaft, not far from the playground, tucked away in the limestone. Their bodies showed signs of malnourishment, starvation, and brutality. The culprit was never discovered, and to this day, not all of the children's bodies have been discovered. Some of them are probably still resting in the limestone surrounding the playground. People say that after the sun sets, the ghosts of those children come out and play on the playground. And if you ever join them on the playground after nightfall, they might just ask you if you can help them find their bodies. I don't currently believe in ghosts, but not because I don't want to, just because I've never experienced anything paranormal in my life. I would love to believe in ghosts and the paranormal. I would love to see a ghost, hear a ghost, maybe talk to one. That would be really cool. I've known a lot of people who believe in ghosts, and they seem to all have some crazy story where they encountered one at some haunted location, or just the ghost of some ancestor or recently descended loved one. I've never had anything like that happen to me. But maybe it's because I've never been somewhere where there are ghosts. I realize that's a possibility, so I really want to fix that. I want to give ghosts their best shot. And so the best way to do that, I guess, is go to one of the most haunted locations in the world. So I picked up this book called Haunted North Alabama because I live in North Alabama. And the very first haunted location mentioned in this book is Dead Children's Playground. And honestly, after looking through the entire book, that's my favorite location, because if there is anywhere on this planet that's haunted, it has to be Dead Children's Playground. So that's exactly where I'm going to go. Let's see if we can find some ghosts. As brave as I may seem, I did not want to go to the haunted playground alone, for several reasons, the least of which being ghosts and demons. I took one of my good friends, Drew, with me. This is Drew here, if you can see him.
Hey guys.
Drew actually does believe in spirits and ghosts and things like that, and on the way to Maple Hill, he told me several stories of strange experiences he's had throughout his life, which he describes as paranormal. And that was honestly one reason I was glad to have him with me. It brought a healthy balance to my investigation, me being a skeptic and Drew being a believer. Me and Drew arrived at the playground sometime around 8 o'clock p.m. It was already pretty dark outside, and the playground was significantly darker. It was raining heavily, which it continued to do for the rest of the night. When I first saw the playground from the parking lot, I had a really strong impulse to just turn around and leave and go home and just forget the whole thing. I've never in my life seen anything that looked so out of place, out of time even, almost like a liminal space. The playground just doesn't belong there by any means. It looks like it exists because of some glitch in the Matrix, not because of a human decision. Because what human would put a playground in the bottom of a hole carved out of limestone, not to mention in the middle of a giant cemetery? Being there after dark definitely made it appear more eerie and ominous, but I have no doubt in my mind that it would still feel just as unsettling and wrong even in the middle of the day. As soon as me and Drew got out of the car, Drew said that he felt a strong energy, and as we got closer to the playground, he said that he felt it getting stronger.
Is that like shrooms?
I didn't feel anything supernatural, but the entire place did make me feel very uneasy, especially knowing the story behind it. After about 15 minutes of being there alone, another car pulled up and 3 people walked out.
Happy Halloween, guys.
What are you guys doing?
YouTube video.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. We actually came down here. I bought a spirit box app.
We got a Ouija board in the car.
Why would you do that?
I haven't brought it out yet.
Have y'all got any good stuff?
I am
We've been out here maybe 15 minutes.
15 minutes. I had some strong energy at the swings.
One of the members of their group had visited the playground several times before, and he told us that he had the most paranormal activity up on a limestone plateau, which is on the right-hand side of the playground if you're looking at it. It's a flattened, elevated spot where there are several large rocks and some interesting limestone formations. We all walked up there together, and they all started using the spirit box. I wasn't particularly interested in the Spirit Box app, so I just walked down to the playground area by myself and hoped that I could make some connections with some ghosts. I didn't know if I would see a ghost, or hear one, or maybe just feel the presence of one, but my mind was very open and I was ready to experience any sort of ghostly encounter. I walked around the playground, and then I climbed on the playset. I slid down the slide, and then I swung on the swings. I thought that maybe if I walked where the ghosts walk and did what the ghosts do, I could maybe make some sort of a connection with them. Maybe some sort of a psychic link, I don't know. But while doing all of this, in my mind I recalled all of the history I had learned about this place. I thought about the influenza pandemic of 1918. I thought about the abductions of the 1960s. I tried to imagine what it must have been like, how terrifying it must have been. It made me pretty sad just thinking about it. And slowly in my mind, as I meditated on these things, the playground began to radiate less and less of a feeling of malevolence and horror, and it instead started to radiate a sense of melancholy, and then a strange, somber sense of nostalgia for a place I've never been before. I wouldn't describe it as paranormal, but while I was sitting there alone, in the dark and in the rain, I felt an unexpected sense of inner serenity, tranquility. I felt very at peace for some reason. I think it had something to do with the playground being surrounded by giant limestone walls. They act as sound barriers. You can't hear any cars, you can't hear any city noise at all. All you can hear is whatever noises exist on the playground. So while I was there, it was raining. There was thunder, and that was it. Just that. It's like you're in a weird bubble, a weird bubble of noise, a weird bubble of time. It's odd. It feels like being in some sort of a twilight zone, but it's kind of peaceful in a really weird way. While I was sitting on the bench, Drew came and got me, and then we went back and got back together with the other group, and we messed around with their Spirit Box app for a little while. I didn't really record much of it because that's not really something I was specifically interested in. After messing around with the Spirit Box for a little while, me and Drew went back to my car and we got out the Ouija board. We asked the group of people if they wanted to use the Ouija board with us, but they said they weren't interested at all in touching it. But they were extremely curious to watch me and Drew use it. So we all gathered in the pavilion and we sat down and me and Drew used the Ouija board. And one of the guys from the group we had met was kind enough to take my camera and record all of this footage. So I really appreciate that. Shout out to that guy.
Is there anyone who would want to speak with us tonight? Light, touch your light. Is there anyone who wants to speak with us tonight? Hello?
Is there anyone there? We tried using the Ouija board for a while in the pavilion, but it was all unsuccessful.
First to go is a no-go.
Gonna move in closer.
Into the fire pit.
Just leave this here. So we decided to go back to one of the furthest points in the limestone, and we sat down on a giant rock, and we tried using the Ouija board there. After a little while, we heard another car pull up. Then a group of 3 more people walked up to us. I did not expect so many people to be out here.
It was kind of nice when it was just us. Well, I'm pretty sure they were expecting just them too.
Yeah.
What's up?
Just trying to contact some spirits.
God, you got.
Yeah.
We saw some cars that you gave me.
We haven't got anything yet.
Are you guys filming something specific?
Just
I
documenting
thought
it.
you guys, this is my
We've
first time
had a
up
lot
here.
of contact already.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah,
are you YouTubing?
Yeah.
Cool. What's your channel called?
Dallas Wade. After we used the Ouija board to no success again, we moved even further in the limestone. Is there anybody else that would like to jump on the Ouija board? Once we sat up again, one of the girls from the new group sat down with me and Drew, and she used the Ouija board with us.
Did you tell us to come over here?
Oh, I feel something.
Are you wanting to speak with us? Why did you call us over here? Something's over here.
Yeah, I feel it.
You feel it?
I felt it as soon as I touched that thing. I have like a dark, like heavy.
It's very dark.
I have a
Don't
very.
take your fingers off.
Sorry. I have a very heavy pressure on my chest right now.
Are there any last words you wanted to say that you never had an opportunity to?
Oh.
Gosh, I have this
breathe,
bad
okay.
feeling in the pit of my stomach.
Just breathe. You're okay.
Is there anything you want to tell your parents, your family?
Hey, you're in control. You don't want it there. You can tell it to go. Okay? You're okay.
Okay.
We're lightly touching everybody.
Mhm.
Not pressing too hard.
No.
After using the Ouija board for several more minutes, nothing else happened. And that was pretty much the end of the experience. Everyone left, and me and Drew, we sat in the pavilion for a while, and we just stared at the playground. And then we decided to walk down to the graveyard, where we walked around for a little while. And Drew had downloaded one of the Spirit Box apps, and he tried using it a little bit in the graveyard. I don't really know if he got anything or not. If he did, it wasn't really notable. We walked around the graveyard until a little bit after midnight, and then we walked back to the car and left. And so that's everything that happened on my adventure to Dead Children's Playground. It was a pretty great experience. I don't think that I saw anything or experienced anything paranormal, but it was definitely really spooky and kind of emotional in a lot of surprising ways. I don't think it was paranormal though. I think it's just the really bizarre setting that playground is in, and especially going at night. You know, it's kind of off-putting to be at a playground at night. That kind of is a liminal space, kind of like I mentioned earlier. So I think that's I think that has a lot to do with some of the weird emotions I was experiencing. Just you know, this really weird feeling that, you know, everything is just slightly off. And I think that's really all it boils down to. I really appreciate Drew going with me. I think we're going to be going to some more haunted locations very soon, so keep an eye out for that. I hope you enjoyed this video. It took a very long time to make. I don't really know if that will come through in the finished product. I don't know if people watching will pick up on that, but I spent a lot of time on this video, more than I have on any other video. If you want to see more stuff like this, I really loved making it, and I would love to make more. And if you want me to do that, make sure you like this video and share this video with some friends or on your social media. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll be notified when I do upload future videos. And if you would like to help pay for some of my editing software or travel or just other things, you know, if you want to help fund my videos, if you want me to keep making cool stuff, I have a Patreon page. There's a link in the bio, and you can go over there and donate as little as $1 a month, and it helps out a lot. I really appreciate all of my Patreons. You guys are awesome. You guys really do help out, and you mean the world to me, so thank you. And thank you to every one of you guys who watch my videos and like my videos and share my videos and comment on my videos. Thank you so much for everything you do. I don't thank you guys enough. That's all that I've got to say for this video. This was a long process getting this video done. I'll see you guys in the next one.